Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica, and today I want to share with you how to do the blanket stitch. So today I'm going to be creating the blanket stitch for this flannel blanket that I've made, but you can certainly do this on a blanket that you already have, a tea towel, the edge of a curtain, basically anything that has a hem you can do this on. And what I'm going to do is mark every ½ inch in the center of the hem. So if you don't know, the hem is where you can see that stitched right above where my hand is to the edge of the blanket. And what I'm doing is I'm putting the mark every ½ inch in the very middle of that section. And so I'm going to do this the length of the blanket on all 4 sides, and then we'll go into how to do the actual blanket stitch. So the next step is to create holes where you made those marks. So every ½ inch we are going to create a mark. And what I'm using here is called an awl. You can buy these at many craft stores, Amazon. I will leave a link down below if you want to see one similar to mine. But this just really helps to create those holes. Now, this step is optional. However, I highly recommend it. What we will be doing is using a blunt needle, and it can be pretty hard, especially if your hem is thicker or the material is thicker, to press that blunt edge of the needle in. So I highly recommend using the awl. But now we're going to get into actually creating the blanket stitch. And so what I'm doing, again, I have a blunt yarn needle, and then I'm going to take this yarn, which is actually called cotton thread. And again, I'll leave a link to that below as well. But what you want to do is establish the amount of thread that you'll need. So what I do is I take the end of the yarn, line it up with the end of one side, and I'm going to measure the full length of that particular side of my blanket. Then what I'll do is fold it over 2 times. So basically the amount of thread that you'll need is 3 times the length of the one side that you're working on. So we're going to be working one side at a time. So you will do this for all 4 sides, but I'm just going to show you the one side. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just folding it over twice, and then I leave just a little bit on the end. That's more than enough. And then I'm going to tie 2 knots in the bottom of the yarn just to make sure that it's not going to slip through any of the holes or anything like that. To attach this cotton thread to your blanket, first you want to thread it through your yarn needle, and then what we'll do is go on the right hand side of the side that you're working on, turn it over, and force your needle diagonally up through the hem very carefully so that it comes at the very tip, it comes out of the very tip edge of your blanket. And you'll want to make sure that you're leaving that nice long tail that we just did when we tied the knot, and that'll make sense later on. Next, we are going to thread our needle through that very first hole and pull all of that yarn through. It's going to be quite a bit at the beginning, so you kind of have to strategically place it to one side just to make sure that you're not creating any knots. And there we've made a diagonal post. Then we're going to take our needle, point it diagonally to the left, and thread the needle and thread back through that loop and pull. And that is one blanket stitch. And this one is a little hard to see, so let me show you another one. So threading that needle through that next hole, pulling all of that yarn to the right hand side, then taking our needle diagonally to the left and threading all of that yarn through, pulling it tight. And what I like to do is take my needle and kind of pull up on that just so that it's moved towards the top a little bit. Now you can leave this blanket stitch as is. I really do like how that looks. I like to do this because I crochet edges around my blankets, and so that will be the next step for me. But like you said, you can just leave this how it is, and I really do like the look of it. Once all sides are finished, then I like to tie up the loose ends. And what I like to do is I'll take my needle and thread it back through the loose end of the thread, and we're going to put it down diagonally through the back of the hem, just like we did to start the blanket stitch. So then in each corner, you will have 2 pieces of your thread. And what we're going to do is just tie those in a double knot to make sure they're extra secure. The last thing I do is just snip off those ends, and then I'm going to take some liquid stitch or some fabric glue, and I'm just going to glue those little flaps down just in the very corners so that it hides any of that knot or the loose thread that we just took care of, and that just gives it a nice and finished look. And that's it. That's how you do the blanket stitch. Like I said, this can be applied to so many different projects. I really love the look of it. You can add so much more. But anyway, I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.